and you need to get on camera and apologize to those girls. That's what needs to happen. Not only does it stop there, you need to get your ass on camera with whoever else the other owner is, and y'all need to talk about the assault that took place to a Caitlin Clark fan who was spit in the face by a Seattle Storm fan. Unprovoked. You guys need to be getting on camera and addressing that. How about that? This is not an...
Pay close attention to the body language and how security reacts after learning who the aggressor is. That hesitation and sudden change in tone reveal the moment they realize this situation cannot be handled like an ordinary fan incident. This isn't simply a rowdy spectator crossing the line. She's a co-owner of the Seattle Storm, and suddenly, the rules appear different. At Climate Pledge Arena on game night, two 16-year-old girls, Annalie and her friend, sat holding signs supporting Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever. Then an adult woman approached, cursed at them, brought up religion without provocation, and told them she hoped God could forgive them. The girls began crying as they faced verbal abuse from an adult at a basketball game.
So at this point, I go over to security again, and there's another male security guard who was perfectly nice to us and knew the situation that had happened. And I go to him and I say, hey, you know, that woman sitting next to Sue Bird is the woman who made the girls cry. And he's like, which one? You know, and he's looking, and I'm like, the one white, whatever. And he says, oh, that's a co-owner of the team. Her name is Celeste Keaton. There she is. The woman on the left is co-owner. And
things become far more complicated once you learn who is involved. Brandy Cruz from Undivided documented the incident while looking out for the teenage athletes who came to watch a basketball game. She did exactly what anyone should. Found security, reported what happened, and identified the woman who had made two children cry. Then security revealed the key detail. She was a co-owner of the team. Notice what that response suggests. There was no promise to handle it, escort her out, or condemn the behavior. Only an identification, as though knowing her status explained why the rules suddenly did not apply. The WNBA's fan code of conduct is clear. Profanity, offensive or abusive comments, and discriminatory remarks based on religious beliefs are violations. There is no exception stating that ownership status provides immunity from the same standards every other fan must follow.
Partner.
So you and your wife need to come out. You and your wife need to come out and address this on camera. Your little 5-game suspension where you get to hide away is not enough. That's not enough.
So I'm like, okay. So there's actually video of me talking to security, because I go over and I'm like, I'm responsible for these girls.
She has video proof.
And I go over to security and I'm telling them, and they were nice, right? But they say, oh, that's the co-owner of the team. And I say, okay, and? I'm thinking, why does it matter? You can't I don't care if you're the co-owner, Sue Bird.
The response from security raises an even bigger question. They told Brandy Cruz to write a letter to the team about the team's co-owner. But who exactly is supposed to receive it? And who can enforce consequences when the person accused of violating the code is one of the people running the organization? The power imbalance becomes impossible to ignore. If an ordinary fan had crossed the arena and verbally abused two teenage girls until they cried, security would likely have removed them immediately, possibly banned them from future games, and depending on their words, involved law enforcement. That is the standard for crossing the line at a professional sporting event. Yet Celeste Caton wasn't ejected. She returned to her courtside seat beside Sue Bird and watched the game continue. This only became public because Brandy Cruz had a media platform and knew how to use it, sharing receipts, video evidence, and specific details about what happened and how security responded. She effectively forced the WNBA to address it publicly.
Rules of conduct. So I'm like, can't we do something about this right now? I mean, security had basically said, if you find this woman, let us know. Well, I found her. Sorry that she happens to be the co-owner of the team, but she cursed out two 16-year-olds. I'm like, can we do something about it? And then one of the security guards says, well, you could go, there's an office up here, you could go up and talk to him. And the male security guard says, you know, the best course of action is probably just to write a letter to the team. So they're telling me to write a letter to the team, okay?
Write a letter to the team, and it's the day.
What makes the situation even more troubling is that this wasn't the only hostile incident that night. Brandy Cruz documented another moment when Callie Keeler, One of the teenage athletes with her stood up to check on crying Annalie. As she walked past, 2 other Storm fans tried to trip her, then laughed about it. This suggests something bigger than one person having a bad night. It points to a pattern where opposing fans are being targeted and harassed, seemingly with the building's ownership allowing it to happen. The WNBA responded with a 5-game suspension for Celeste Keaton, preventing her from attending the next 5 home games. But that punishment feels inadequate. Owners don't attend every game anyway, choosing based on schedules, opponents, or convenience. So missing 5 games isn't comparable to suspending a player or season ticket holder. It's barely an inconvenience. There's also no required public apology, press conference, or direct statement from Catan to the girls she made cry or the fans who witnessed it. Instead, the WNBA released a statement for her. That's not accountability. It's damage control.
Sophie, thank you, Sophie, for speaking up. And so we were holding on, just watching the game again. And then it was like, Jesus loves everyone. That's what she told us. And I was like, oh, I know. I'm religious. I know. I know. Nice. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I hope Jesus can forgive you for what sin you've done. And something that God can say.
Now, okay, I played this in another video, so I'm gonna get to. I want to hear her finish.
So.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get to it. All right, here we go.
That are discriminatory toward people based on their religious beliefs is against the rules. Well, they brought up God. Oh, I hope your God forgives you. Any in-arena comments that you...
The appropriate response should have gone much further. Celeste Catan should be barred from all Storm home games for the rest of the season, not merely 5. If ownership doesn't create immunity, the same standard applied to any fan who verbally abused children must apply here. She should also receive a substantial financial penalty, not a token fine. Something meaningful even for someone wealthy enough to own a WNBA team, with the money directed toward youth sports or anti-bullying organizations. Most importantly, Catan needs to face the cameras herself and apologize directly, rather than hiding behind a league statement or PR firm. She should apologize to Annalie, her friend, Brandy Cruz, for putting her in that position, and every parent expecting a safe environment at a Storm game. But accountability cannot stop with Catan. The Storm organization must address the assault inside its building, including a Caitlin Clark fan being spit on by a Storm supporter. That's battery. That's a crime. Where is the statement about stronger security, preventing similar incidents, and acknowledging that opposing fans were made to feel unsafe inside their arena?
Profanity that are offensive, abusive, disparaging, demeaning are strictly against the rules, and they violate the WNBA's fan code of conduct. So what happens when the co-owner of the team violates the WNBA's fan code of conduct and gets her old ass up and hobbles across the freaking floor to harass 2 16-year-old girls? And this is a woman, by the way, who, is held up in the media throughout the years as someone who's a champion for women. A champion for the WNBA. Not a single one of those WNBA players would want to play against a man. Not a single one of those team owners or any team owner of any WNBA team in the nation would want to have to play against a team that has a man on it. But maybe if they did have a man on their team, the Storm wouldn't have...
Brandy Cruz uncovered something much bigger than one disturbing incident. The double standard that can emerge when powerful people break the rules. Security immediately knew Celeste Catan was a co-owner, and that knowledge changed their response. They went from, if you find her, let us know, to acting as though the situation was suddenly complicated. Catan has been portrayed in media coverage as a champion of women's basketball, the WNBA, and women's sports. Maybe she has supported those causes, but none of that gives her permission to verbally abuse teenage girls at a basketball game. Contributions to the league don't create separate rules for personal behavior. The irony is hard to miss. The WNBA has worked to create family-friendly, welcoming environments where young girls can watch professional women athletes and feel inspired. Yet an owner made young girls cry for supporting the opposing team. Fans allegedly tried to trip teenage athletes, and another fan was spit in the face. That's not family-friendly. That's hostile. And as the reaction continued, oh, she's cooking now. Damn, Brandy. Others pointed out that any ordinary fan behaving like Catan did would have been ejected without question. One person admitted that if they had gotten up, sworn at 2 people, especially children, and made them cry, they would have deserved ejection, but said they would never behave that way because they aren't mentally disturbed or insane. And even then, the story wasn't finished. Brandy later said that when she got home, she was so angry that her motherly instincts had kicked in, and she felt ready to spare no one. The incident involving two girls allegedly trying to trip a teenage athlete points to a much larger issue. This happened at a Fever game, Caitlin Clark's team, which is driving unprecedented attendance and viewership across the league while bringing new fans into WNBA arenas. Yet some of those newcomers are being treated like invaders. There has been growing tension between longtime WNBA fans and the audience Clark has attracted. Some resent the attention she receives, the casual fans arriving specifically for her, and the shift in media coverage. In some cases, that resentment has turned into hostility toward Fever supporters. But those longtime fans need to understand that the league needs this growth. The WNBA operated at a loss for much of its existence, and teams need attendance, viewership, and casual fans who become regular supporters. Caitlin Clark is bringing attention, revenue, and new audiences. If existing fans make those newcomers feel unwelcome, they're actively hurting the league's growth. Celeste Caton's treatment of the teenage girls reflects that larger problem. They held signs supporting Sophie Cunningham and the Fever, which is completely normal fan behavior. Yet Caton apparently felt that their support justified confronting them, bringing up religion, and making them cry. What was so offensive about those signs that an adult woman and co-owner of the opposing team needed to get in their faces? Callie Keeler, who you know as the girl who had to wrestle a boy without knowing beforehand, had gotten up to check on Annalie while she was crying when two other fans allegedly tried to trip her and laughed about it. Their faces were captured, prompting the reaction. Let's find out who they are, because maybe they're important too. Brandy Cruz argued that people who preach love and inclusion while claiming moral superiority can sometimes display hateful behavior themselves. And now, what happens next matters. The WNBA's weak response risks setting a precedent that owners can violate the fan code of conduct, receive a light suspension, and simply deal with a few days of bad press. What this ultimately means is no real consequences, no meaningful accountability, and an expectation that the controversy will simply fade away. That's dangerous because other owners and fans are watching, learning that rules can become negotiable when someone has enough money or status. They're seeing that the WNBA may protect its owners even when those owners create hostile environments, and that public pressure may be the only thing forcing accountability. Brandy Cruz shouldn't have needed to expose this through her platform before anyone responded. Security should have intervened immediately. The storm should have addressed it, and the WNBA should have acted firmly without waiting for social media outrage. Instead, it took someone with a platform and video evidence to force action. Consider how many incidents never get documented, how many fans are harassed or assaulted without a Brandy Cruz there to expose it, and how many people are told to write letters that lead nowhere. This incident became public because the right person witnessed it and had the platform to share it. How many others happened without anyone hearing about them? The spitting incident is especially disturbing because that's assault, not simply rude behavior or hostile words. Someone physically spit in another person's face. In a post-COVID world, that's even more serious. Yet the storm's response appears silent, while the WNBA has focused on the owner's suspension instead of addressing the assault. That's unacceptable. Every fan should feel safe inside that building. If the organization can't provide that, it has failed at the most basic level of event management. The storm should immediately hold a press conference, with Celeste Keaton and her partner addressing what happened, while outlining specific security measures and explaining how hostile fan behavior will be handled going forward. They need to make clear that courtside seats provide no immunity from the code of conduct. The organization should contact Brandy Cruz and the girls directly. A private apology matters, but public acknowledgement matters too. These girls came to watch basketball and left traumatized. It happened inside the Storm's building, under their watch, involving a Storm co-owner as the aggressor. They need to own it, fix it, and make it right. The WNBA should also reconsider its ownership standards. Team ownership should come with behavioral expectations, a morals clause, and consequences for creating hostile environments or serious PR problems. Caton's conduct reflects on the entire league, and the WNBA's brand suffers whenever an owner behaves this way and receives little more than a slap on the wrist. The bigger issue is that the WNBA is entering a critical growth period. Caitlin Clark's rookie season brought unprecedented attention, with attendance, viewership, merchandise sales, and sponsor interest rising. This is the moment the league has spent 27 years building toward. Incidents like this threaten that progress because new fans who attend games and get harassed may simply not return. Parents who bring their daughters to see Caitlin Clark and watch them get made to cry by an owner aren't coming back. Casual fans who see this story and view the league as having a toxic fan culture may not give it a chance. Every incident costs the WNBA potential long-term fans and revenue. The league can't afford to protect owners who create these problems, issue weak punishments that don't change behavior, or wait for social media outrage before acting. They need to be proactive, establish clear standards, and enforce them consistently regardless of who violates them. Celeste Keaton should be ashamed. She's a grown woman who made teenage girls cry at a basketball game. She used her position and courtside seat to intimidate kids who were simply supporting their team. When security discovered who she was protected instead of ejected. That's not leadership, and it's not being a champion for women's sports. It's being a bully hiding behind money and status. The 5-game suspension is insulting. It feels like the WNBA is hoping this blows over without addressing the deeper problems. This is performative accountability that doesn't cost Catan anything meaningful. She'll miss 5 home games she may not have attended anyway, wait for the news cycle to pass, and return to her courtside seats without facing real consequences. So what should happen? Brandi Kruse laid it out. A season-long suspension from home games, a public apology on camera, an explanation of new security measures, acknowledgement of the assault inside the building, a financial penalty that actually matters, and most importantly, a clear message that ownership doesn't provide immunity from basic standards of human decency. The WNBA constantly talks about values, community, and welcoming environments. Now is the time to prove those claims through action. Show that protecting teenage fans matters more than protecting wealthy owners. Show that growth and new audiences matter more than comfortable relationships with people who write checks. Because Caitlin Clark and the fans she's bringing are the future of this league. They're helping drive attendance, record viewership, and growing sponsor interest. If the WNBA responds to harassment against those new fans with weak suspensions and corporate statements, they'll leave. They'll watch women's college basketball, where they feel more welcome, or support other women's sports instead. The ball is in the WNBA's court. It can take this seriously with real consequences and meaningful changes, or continue issuing weak punishments while incidents damage its brand. It can protect every fan equally, or protect its owners and risk stalling its growth. It can become the league it claims to be, or the league that allows co-owners to make teenage girls cry without meaningful accountability. So ask yourself, is 5 games enough? Should Celeste Catan be banned for the rest of the season? Should the Storm address the assault that happened inside their building? And what does it say about the WNBA that social media outrage was needed to get even this weak response? Let me know what you think, because this story isn't over yet.